Let's talk about harmony at work. So, one of the most interesting things that I've noticed when it comes to this strength, as I've been kind of reading through the research and thinking about my own clients, is that most people, when they initially read just the high level definition of this strength, might see it as potentially being overly emotional or maybe often paired with a strength like empathy. And while there is often a sort of emotional undercurrent to harmony, specifically because it's a relationship building strength, I've also seen it manifest, particularly in work environments, as someone wanting to be efficient, wanting to get things done, and seeing disagreements and arguments and debates as being a waste of time and emotional energy. So it's almost like wanting to maximize emotional energy or like protect emotional energy and not waste it by just spending all this time going back and forth when we could all just come to an agreement and get going and moving forward. One of the most common threads for harmony and a huge value to a team, like a work team, is the fact that harmony tends to focus on the value of the team coming to consensus on something. And the reason I say this is so valuable because I'm sure there are people out there who are like, yes, but debate is good. And yes, but thinking about all perspectives is good. It is. But then having someone with harmony on the team to make sure that everyone lands together, that everyone kind of agrees on the same thing. By ensuring that this happens, they also are ensuring that there is like buy-in to whatever the decision has been and that everyone is on the same page before taking action. A lot of times on teams, there's kind of this push to move ahead, even though not everyone is on board because it's what's going to happen. So get on board. But with harmony, you're really focused on making sure that everyone is on board before you start moving. And so for a team where there might be conflict occasionally, or there may be different paths that you could choose to take, having someone with harmony means that you're going to really drill down and get to the decision and make sure that everyone is aligned on that decision before you move forward, which is a huge time saver, resource saver in the end, and keeps people motivated and wanting to complete the task or the project. Another interesting thing about harmony is that while you don't love conflict and you don't like arguments and things like that, you do seek out different opinions and different perspectives. And a lot of times you do this as a way of finding commonalities to build off of. So if you can find a whole bunch of different people who believe a whole lot of different things, but you can find a commonality amongst all of them, not only is that energizing for you, but it's a really great way to bring people together who normally would not naturally come together on a specific topic. So I think that's really important to note that you don't avoid difference. You actually seek out difference in order to find the commonality, which is really so. In a work environment specifically, you building a network of people who have different experiences, different perspectives, different opinions than you can really help you when you need expertise that is ultimately going to help bring people together on to agree on something. So if there's like infighting or arguing going on a team, but you have an expert that you know of, you can bring them in and that can kind of help make the team agree like, oh, okay, the expert has said this, we can agree on this. That's another unique kind of lens of harmony, is actually wanting to have different opinions so that you can bring them in so that it can help actually create consensus in a very interesting kind of roundabout way that you do things. So if you work in a team or in a team-like environment, you likely want to hear everyone's voice, everyone's opinion or thought before coming to an agreement. And this can be really, really beneficial, especially on teams where, some people share ideas and other people stay more quiet. But because you are kind of consistently seeking everyone's thoughts and opinions, it means that you're actually able to access more ideas and find better solutions than you might if only the same two or three voices were giving ideas and solutions every single time. And in addition to just having more diversity of thought and better options, it also helps to make everyone on the team feel appreciated for their insights and respected for what they bring to the table. Now, a blind spot or a challenge just to kind of keep an eye out for when you're at work is this tendency that you might have to avoid difficult conversations. You're not alone. Like, a lot of people avoid difficult conversations, but because you so inherently want there to be harmony, you want there to be consensus, you want there to be agreement, willingly stepping into challenging conversations can be hard for you to do. So, right off the bat, it's just important to remember that in a work environment, in really any group environment, difficult conversations are part of the functioning of that group, of that environment. So there are going to be disagreements and there's going to be contention. And that's just something that, even though you don't love it, and even though you're probably going to work to avoid it as much as possible, that it exists, and that some people enjoy it. Some people like conflict. Some people like debate, right? So let them have that if it's productive, and just figure out ways that you can kind of protect yourself and your energy when these things are occurring. And so those practices could be anything from like removing yourself from a conversation if you don't need to be a part of it. I don't always encourage people to like lean into their wanting to avoid something, but sometimes people just want to debate. And if it just stresses you out to be a part of that and you don't need to be a part of that, then remove yourself. Come back when the debate's over so that you can help people come to an agreement on something. You can also figure out some practices that you can employ more internally to help you handle challenging conversations with more ease. So that can just be like nervous system regulation, reminders to yourself that like people don't hate each other. They're not fighting. It's just that's how they are processing things. And your strength of harmony will come into play at some point, but sometimes you got to let it play out the way it is. So those are my biggest thoughts on harmony at work. Hopefully this kind of triggers some thoughts for you on how harmony shows up for you in a work environment, whether that's for good or in a challenging sense. I would love to hear your reflections. Please hit reply and let me know what comes up for you when you think about harmony at work. Now let's move into harmony in life.